Putting it simply, the term mill town is the best way to describe Hodge, Louisiana. With a massive paper mill that has been the town's centerpiece since the 1920s, the railroad is one of the few things left that preceded it. In the present day, Watco's Louisiana Southern operates on the rails of various predecessors. This is one of two lines that the LAS operates within the state. Headquartered out of the former Rock Island Depot in Hodge, this is the base of operations of the LAS. Here in town, the mill is switched daily and two jobs run out of town, one going north and one going south. The north job typically switches the mill before gathering outbound freight from it and other customers served by the south job. Once the train is built, it makes way for Gibson to interchange with the CPKC, utilizing the old North Louisiana and Gulf's right-of-way. The Rock Island's southernmost route ran straight through Hodge and continued southward to Eunice. The tracks have long been pulled from the ground north of Hodge and onwards towards the state line of Arkansas, but LAS still operates on the old rock from here in Hodge to the town of Winfield, which is a little less than 30 miles to the south. It's also worth noting that south of Winfield, Watco has the lease to former L&A rails, which is primarily used for storage these days. There's also a small segment in Winfield that was originally operated by the Tremont Gulf. We find ourselves just north of Dodson by the Weyerhaeuser Lumber Mill. Even on a Friday evening, the mill is busy as this log stacker is maneuvering around the facility. To the left, you see LAS Job 121. The south job is making a rare evening run back up to Hodge. Typically, this job departs the depot in the morning hours and is back not long after lunch. The night crew has just gone on duty and climbed aboard the 121 where the day crew had left it. Before switching the paper mill in Hodge, the crew must bring this job north so these outbound cars can hop on the next train to Gibson. WAMX 3841 will be the sole motor acting as power on the 121 this evening, and it will have a decent battle against some of the grades as it works its way north. Today's south job is consisting of freight from 3 different customers, 2 of which are lumber mills. One of them is the mill that we are standing by, which as I mentioned is under the massive global lumber company Weyerhaeuser. The second mill is located to the south in Joyce, which is operated by West Fraser. The easy way to tell the difference in where these cars come from is the tarping over the wood product. West Fraser sports their logo while Weyerhaeuser is keeping it simple with just clear plastic wrapping. Bringing up the rear of the consist is a cut of empty tank cars. These are coming from the Arkland Chemical Plant in Winfield. That facility produces glue. LAS brings in loaded tanks to assist wood production with chemicals such as phenol, methanol, and formaldehyde. LAS still utilizes the original milepost numbers from all of the predecessor railroads, including this one, milepost A180. Now you're probably wondering what the A stands for. Essentially, there is a range of mileposts from the Rock Island and the Louisiana and Arkansas that overlap. To differentiate, the initials A were put in front of the Rock Island mileposts, while the initial B was placed in front of the L&A ones. The 3841 is an EMD GP35R that was originally built as a standard GP35 in 1965. The horizontal nose headlight is a big indicator that this locomotive has Southern Pacific heritage. In the 1970s, the locomotive was among many sent to Canadian National in a contracted rebuild program on behalf of SP. While the rebuild would lengthen its overall tenure at Southern Pacific, the late 80s would find the locomotive sold to the Canadian American Railroad, which operated between the state of Maine and the Canadian province of Quebec. Once the CDAC was purchased by another road, the Jeep 35 rebuild would find a new home within Watco's growing roster. It served on a few different Watco short lines, such as the Vicksburg Southern in Mississippi, before winding up here. Here in Jonesboro, the 121 is on its final stretch to Hodge, where it will tie these cars down and switch the paper mill. The following morning, the day crew will take the reins and send a northbound for interchange. South of Gibson on the old NLNG, we find Job 131 making its final approach to the interchange. This segment of the line has some tough grades, and with the amount of traffic coming off of the LAS, this job often requires 4 locomotives just as it does today. Within the town limits resides the old and worn down Gibson Freight Depot. You'll notice that Gibson is spelled with two B's instead of the proper single one. Unfortunately, I cannot remember the exact reason why it's spelled differently, but I want to say it could be because of a past dispute with the U.S. Postal Service. The locomotive shops of the Louisiana and Northwest are quiet on this hot Saturday afternoon. A GP-15 of the LNW sits quietly and awaits its next assignment. The red paint scheme of Patriot Rail has begun to fade, and you notice patches of its original Conrail blue peeking through. The leader of Job 131 is number 3911, a GP-39 rebuild. Originally built as a GP-35 for the Gulf Mobile and Ohio, it would later be folded into the Illinois Central Gulf. It would then later be sold to the Burlington Northern, who would rebuild it into its current 39 configuration. After serving BN and later BNSF, it found its current home in Watco's roster. As the 131 moves into the interchange tracks 301 and 302, a push-pull maneuver is required. At the time of filming, CPKC had not picked up outbound cars from the LAS for several days, leaving the interchange tracks almost at capacity. The LAS will be required to utilize the CPKC mainline to get its power on the other end of the train. The quartet of black and yellow motors will shove out yesterday's outbounds while pulling today's. Once today's cars are clear of the switch with plenty of room to spare, LAS will disconnect from them.
The last one. Half of it. And anywhere in there we'll do 131.
With signal indication giving LAS 131 the clear to advance, WAMX 3914 now takes the lead. This motor is another GP39, but it stands out due to its K&O lettering on the side and nose. The Kansas and Oklahoma Railroad operates on well over 900 miles of track throughout the Midwest. The two wide cabs in the middle of the locomotive consist are EMD GP40-2LWs. It isn't too hard to guess that both of these are original Canadian National workhorses. CN has sold many of these over the years, and you can find them in several places in Louisiana and its surrounding states. while a third man will stick behind to guard the shove move back. Conductor Peyton here will hop down from the locomotive to flip the switch up by the grade crossing. Once the 131 is clear and Peyton flips the switch, the train will shove back into the interchange.
Looks about like you got 30 on a stop. Last one. Half of it. And that'll do by the time you get to stop to 131. Clear. Clear, shove back at least 50-50. Shove is clear.
Since CPKC has yet to pick up all of these outbounds that have completely filled the interchange now, that also means that there are no inbounds for LAS to bring back south. Once clear of the switch, Watco will realign the main line and tie down the cars. It will be an easy trip back south for the engineer since he will be heading to Hodge as light power. I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Louisiana Southern Railroad. In the future, I will be revisiting the LAS to do a proper chase between Hodge and Gibson, but until then, hopefully this satisfied you. Until the next time, my friends, I'll be seeing you somewhere out there along the rails, and as always, thanks for watching.